I caught him in bed with my cousin. She actually makes me feel alive, he said as I stood frozen. I silently walked away, canceled our wedding venue, and sold my dress to pay for a private investigator. What I found out next made headlines, and when he tried to explain himself, I never thought I'd be the girl who caught her fiancé in bed with her own cousin. Matt and I were supposed to get married in less than 6 weeks. Everything was planned. The venue was booked. A barn-style hall just outside Austin with string lights and a fire pit. I had picked out the dress of my dreams, ivory lace, long sleeves, a low back. We had a list of over 150 guests, including family flying in from Ohio, California, and even Canada. I had spent every weekend for the past 3 months planning, organizing, stressing. And then one Tuesday night, everything fell apart. I wasn't even supposed to be at Kelly's apartment. That's my cousin. We grew up together, practically like sisters. She was the wild one. Fast-talking, quick to laugh, always wearing something tight or low-cut, but I loved her. I trusted her. She lived just a few blocks from me, and I had left a bracelet at her place after a bridal shower planning session. So I swung by after running errands. I figured I'd just pop in, grab it, maybe catch up for a few minutes. Her front door was unlocked, which was weird, but I didn't think much of it. I walked in, calling her name. Nothing. I walked farther down the hallway, and that's when I saw them.
Matt.
My Matt. Naked. On top of Kelly. My cousin. Also naked. In her bed. The sheets still wrapped around them. I stopped in the doorway, frozen. Kelly screamed first. Covered herself up. Tried to grab the blanket.
But Matt?
He looked up at me and didn't even flinch. He just stared. Then, after a moment, he said with this strange, calm voice, like he was relieved. She actually makes me feel alive. That's it. Not, I'm sorry. Not, it's not what it looks like. Just those words. Like I was some lifeless thing he'd grown tired of. I didn't scream.
I didn't cry.
I didn't throw anything. I couldn't. My hands were shaking, but I just turned and walked out. My mind blank. My stomach twisted. It didn't feel real. I got in my car. Drove straight home. I think I sat in the dark for 2 hours without moving. The next morning, I got up and started deleting things. Canceled the venue. Lost a chunk of the deposit, but I didn't care. I emailed the dress boutique. Told them I wanted to resell the dress. They connected me with a bride in Dallas who was getting married in 2 months and needed something fast. I boxed up the dress and overnighted it to her. She sent me the full payment that same day. $2,400. I didn't even hesitate. I used that money to hire a private investigator. Something inside me told me this wasn't a one-time thing. It didn't feel impulsive. It felt practiced. Matt was smart, calculated, the kind of guy who could make you feel like the only person in the world until you weren't. I needed to know who he really was. The PI's name was Ron. Older guy, ex-cop.
No nonsense.
He said he'd dig through everything, financials, emails, social media, past addresses. The first week, he didn't find much. Just a few charges at motels on the outskirts of town. Some odd Venmo payments from random accounts. A few burner phone records. Then he asked if I'd ever heard of Kendra Fields. I said no. He showed me a Craigslist ad linked to that name, offering spiritual coaching and emotional companionship. Said it was clearly a cover for something else. And the email listed in the ad? It was Kelly's. Just under a different last name. That's when things started unraveling fast. Ron pulled financial records and found that Kendra Fields had been receiving money from men in several different states. Phoenix, Tampa, Nashville. All wired money. All using the same memo line. Consulting fee. He traced the account that received the money. Guess who was co-signer on it?
Matt.
They had an LLC together. Fields Enterprises. Like a damn business. They were running romance scams. Kelly would find lonely men online, seduce them, promise to meet in person or offer therapy, and then disappear after getting paid. Matt helped manage the bank accounts, probably helped craft the fake stories, maybe even coached her on what to say. I was sick. This wasn't just cheating. This was crime.
Fraud.
A full-on scam ring. I thought about confronting them, going to their apartment, screaming, throwing into the street. But that wasn't enough. They were already trash. I needed more. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I took everything Ron found. Every screenshot, bank record, Craigslist post, the shell company papers, and I reached out to one of the men Kelly had scammed. His name was Mike. He lived in Tennessee. He'd sent over $12,000 to Kendra over the course of 4 months. He was divorced, lonely, had no kids. He was too embarrassed to go to police. But when I told him who I was and what they had done to me too, he agreed to talk. He sent me his receipts, emails, texts. I did the same with a guy from Phoenix who turned out to work at a local radio station. He wanted to remain anonymous, but help get the word out. He made a few calls. Then I contacted a small local news blog in Austin. They didn't usually run big stories. But once they saw what I had, they jumped on it. The headline read, "Bride-to-be exposes fiancé and cousin's romance scam ring. Victims across the U.S. speak out." It went viral. Overnight, Matt lost his job at the tech company he worked for. HR didn't even wait for a full investigation. Kelly? She got fired too. Her real estate license was pulled a week later. They went dark. Deleted all their socials. Vanished. But I wasn't done. 2 weeks after the story broke, I started getting messages. Not just from victims, there were plenty of those, but from people who knew Matt. Former coworkers. An ex-girlfriend. A guy from college who said Matt had stolen from their shared apartment back in 2013 and then ghosted. Matt had been running cons for years. The only difference was he used to work alone. That was until Kelly. Turns out she wasn't just in on the scams. She might have been the one running the show. One woman emailed me screenshots from a private support group where Kelly used to post under the name Jenna. The posts were sick. Tips on how to gain trust, how to fake vulnerability. She talked about controlling the narrative and keeping men hooked with small hits of emotional validation. It was all there in black and white. But here's where it got even messier. My uncle, Kelly's dad, called me one night, furious. Said I had ruined his daughter's life. Said I made a public spectacle of something that could have been handled privately. Privately? I told him his daughter helped steal money from vulnerable men. That she betrayed family. That she ruined my life too.
He didn't care.
Told me to stop digging. I hung up. 2 days later, I got served with papers.
Kelly was suing me.
Defamation, emotional distress, and loss of income. I almost laughed when I saw it. But it wasn't funny. It was real. I had to get a lawyer. Thankfully, one of the men who'd come forward was a retired attorney. He offered to help me pro bono. We filed a counterclaim. Said the information I shared was factual, verified by multiple victims, and that Kelly's attempt to silence me was just more manipulation. Then, out of nowhere, I got another visit.
Matt. He showed up my job.
I worked at a medical supply office. He walked in like we were still a couple, like none of it had happened. "I need to talk," he said. I told him to get out. He didn't. He stood there, eyes sunken, skin pale, like he hadn't slept in weeks. "You don't understand," he said. "Kelly used me." I laughed in his face. "Really? Then why did you co-sign an LLC with her? Why did you lie to me for a year?" "She threatened me. Said she'd tell everyone I assaulted her if I didn't help." I froze. That was new. She said she had dirt on me. From college. Stuff that could ruin me. I wanted to believe him. For a second I almost did. But then I remembered the smirk. The words he said that night. "She actually makes me feel alive." No one who was afraid says that. No one being blackmailed smiles while destroying their fiancé's world. I told him to leave. I threatened to call security. As he turned to go, he said one last thing. "She's dangerous. You have no idea who she's messing with now." And then he walked out. That night, I got a call from an unknown number. A man's voice. He said, "You think you're helping people. You're not. Back off." Then he hung up. I called Ron. Told him everything. He said we had two options, go to the police or go deeper.
I chose deeper.
Ron was quiet for a few seconds after I told him about the call. Then he said, we need to look into who Kelly's working with now. This might be bigger than just romance scams. We started pulling anything we could. Ron tapped into databases I didn't even know existed. It turns out Kelly wasn't just using fake names for romance scams. She had been tied to a shell company registered in Nevada. A different name, Crystal J. Fields. Same bank routing info. Different victims. Different strategy. This company wasn't about seduction. It was about investment fraud. She and some unknown man, registered under the name Jonathan Green, had been convincing people to invest in a fake crypto startup. They'd set up a fake site, used flashy social media, bought followers. Dozens of victims wired money. We found a man in New Jersey who lost $50,000. He sent us screenshots of texts from Crystal. She promised him returns within 90 days. Then she vanished. It was Kelly's voice on the videos he received. Same hair, same voice, just wearing glasses and a fake accent. This wasn't just a scam. This was a web. Ron said, she's running 3 plays at once, romance, crypto, and personal loans. And then it got worse. One of Ron's old contacts at a bank told him there was a flagged suspicious activity report involving one of the shell companies. The FBI had taken an interest. Not because of me, but because one of the victims? He worked for a defense contractor. That meant government attention. Ron told me we had 2 options now. Go silent, let the feds handle it, or come forward and hand over everything we had before things got dangerous. I didn't like either option, because both involved letting go. And I wasn't ready to stop yet. Then my car got broken into. Nothing was stolen. Not even my laptop. But all the files I'd been printing out?
Gone.
The only things missing were the folders with my printed notes on Kelly and Matt. The message was clear. I called Ron in a panic. He told me to pack a bag and leave my apartment for a few days. He had a friend outside of town near San Marcos who had a guest house I could use. I left that night. And while I was gone, I got an email from Kelly. Just one line. You should have just moved on like everyone else. Attached was a photo of me and Matt at a bar from our first year together.
Smiling. Happy.
I didn't respond, but inside I was boiling. Because I knew what she was doing. She wasn't warning me. She was threatening me, testing how far I'd go. She had no idea. I stayed in that guest house for 5 days. No phone calls, no visitors. Just emails back and forth with Ron. We pulled together everything. Bank records, text screenshots, company filings, even audio clips from some of the victims. I was tired, but I wasn't backing down. When I got back to Austin, I met with an agent from the FBI. Ron had set it up. They'd already been tracking Crystal Fields and Jonathan Green for months. They had suspected interstate fraud and wire fraud, but no solid proof. Until us. I handed everything over. The agent, a quiet woman in her 50s, looked me in the eye and said, "This is more than enough. You may have just cracked the case open." That should have felt like a win. But I knew what was coming. Kelly wasn't going to disappear quietly. And I was right. She showed up at my apartment the next night. I was walking up the stairs when I saw her, leaning against my door, smiling like she wasn't wanted by half the state. "Can we talk?" she asked. "No," I said. She stepped closer. "Just 5 minutes." I didn't move. That's when she dropped the fake nice act. "You think you're a hero? You don't know what you're doing. I built that system. I controlled every dollar. Matt was just a middleman. And you were always just boring." He told me. Every time. I didn't say anything. Then she leaned in close and whispered, "He begged me not to tell you. But I made him say it. Out loud. Right before we did it." I hit her. I don't even remember lifting my hand. But I slapped her so hard she stumbled back and fell against the railing. She screamed, "You're crazy." "I'm not the one hiding behind fake names and fake tears," I said. "I'm the one who told the truth." She left. Or maybe she ran. Either way, it was the last time I saw her in person. 3 weeks later, the indictments came down. Ma was arrested in a Walmart parking lot, trying to sell his laptop for cash. Kelly was found in Nevada, staying under someone else's name at a weekly motel. The guy pretending to be Jonathan Green? He was already on probation for financial crimes. The FBI took them all. The story went national. Major news networks ran it. I had to give a statement to the press, but I didn't show my face. I didn't want the attention. Still, people found me. Online. Emails from women who'd been lied to, men who'd been conned, cousins who knew how it felt to be betrayed by blood. Matt pled guilty. He cried in court. Said he was lost, manipulated, trying to escape a dead-end life. He got 18 months in federal prison and had to pay restitution. Kelly fought it harder. She blamed Matt, blamed me, blamed everyone. But the evidence was too strong. She got 4 years. The day she was sentenced, I sat in the back of the courtroom. She didn't look at me once. But when she walked past, in cuffs, I said just loud enough, "Still feel alive?" I didn't get everything back. Some of the money's gone forever. Some of the pain still lingers. I don't trust as easy. I don't laugh as quick. But I learned something. They thought I was soft. They thought I'd walk away quietly, like a fool in a white dress. Instead, I sold that dress, sold the future I thought I had, and burned their whole scam down with the truth. And I'd do it again. Every damn time.